Welcome everybody, please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Additions to the agenda. We need to add a request for a waiver penalty for late filing of homestead declaration. Can you do that?
That's under old business or new business?
No, it'll be new business.
All right. Waiver of penalty for homestead exemption. Late filing.
I think that is it. Does anybody else have anything?
No.
Okay, good.
So moved. Second.
Moved and seconded to add the waiver to our agenda under new business items. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? So, my only remarks tonight is to let the people of Vernon know, based on the conversation that I had with the Sheriff's Department tonight, that at this time, they do not believe there is any general threat to the rest of the community based on the events of the other day. That hasn't been made terribly clear, but in an email that I received from Chris Norton, at this time, they do not believe there is a general threat to the rest of the community. We have no guests. We have no public comments because nobody's here.
No public.
We have no committee reports. Approval of meeting minutes for the 17th and the budget meeting minutes on the 18th. You should have two sets. You should have the 17th and you should have a budget set.
Mr. Chair, I move we accept the minutes of October 17th with just the listing of the corrections. They were just clerical, but just clarifying that it's clerical corrections.
You have a list of those corrections?
No, she'll have the minutes.
Oh, you got it. Okay.
I second that.
So moved and seconded to accept the regular meeting minutes from October 17th as corrected. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Budget meeting minutes from October 18th.
Mr. Chair, I move we accept those minutes as printed.
Second.
All right, moved and seconded. Jeff seconded. If you're trying to keep up, Michelle.
I actually did.
Good job. All those in favor of accepting the October 18th budget meeting minutes as written, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? There we go. Mr. Clerk, bills and warrants.
Yes. June, if I can find my little piece of paper here, I just had in my hand. You might know. Anyway, here it goes. The following warrants I move that we approve for payment. Warrant accounts payable 9-T in the amount of $26,706.95, and 3 payroll warrants, 42S in the amount of $7,370.68, 43S in the amount of $7,835.36, and 44S in the amount of $8,701.73.
Second.
Okay, moved and seconded to accept the warrants as read. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, new business. Initiate town acceptance of Hemlock Road and Aspen Lane. Need to set a date of inspection, public hearing, 30 days out, and then a special meeting in December. Basically, I think what happened, correct me if I'm wrong, is that we went back and she went back. No, I didn't do any of this. And found out that their road was never initially accepted by the town at any point. So that's what we need to do now, because we've had them go through the process of paving it to our specifications and all those kind of things. So now we have to.
Well, we couldn't have accepted until it was done, so.
I thought, yeah, it had to be paved to be
Yeah.
accepted.
Well, I was looking to see if it was initiated,
No, it
and it
wasn't.
technically wasn't, because we could have used that, but now we have to wait 30 days after you initiate and we publish everything and send everything out. So it has to start here.
I move we start immediately.
Second.
Moved and seconded to accept Hemlock Road and Aspen Lane. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? Okay. So we need to set a date for inspection, which means we get to take a field trip and inspect the road.
Great.
God, there's no snow.
Should I pack a lunch?
You should. You should, absolutely. We're gonna be there for a while.
Bring my lunch and some snacks?
Yeah.
You don't have to walk the
There's a
whole
lot
road.
of height.
Technically, yes.
We'll come back and pick you up.
Yeah.
Thank you. I mean,
They'll bring us side by side.
I'm walking again, but
Take a
still.
run down back. Be all right.
It's a long road, as I recall.
Yeah.
It's nice and.
So when do we want to do
It is
that?
paved, that's right.
Do we want to do the inspection prior to a select board meeting at some point soon?
Well, it can't be, it has to be at least 30 days, because we need to publish that in the paper. And I just guessed that you might pick the next closest select board meeting and maybe meet at the road at 6:20 and do an inspection.
Yep.
And then come back here and have a special hearing at, what time does that press release say?
So moved, December
And I'll
19th.
second.
At 6.
It would have to be a little earlier.
25, 6:20
I don't
is the
think,
special hearing. Wait, what time was it? 5:45?
5:45 is the inspection on December 19th.
is that
Just
gonna-
my suggestion.
But before we go further on that, I don't think we're gonna see much in the dark, are we? That's not street lit out there, is it? I can barely see to get down to the horse barn at quarters.
That's true.
for God's sake.
Let's bring some flashlights.
What's that?
We'll bring
Flashlights? Well, I have mine, but
Headlights.
Flashlights and headlamps.
I don't know what kind of inspection you can do of a road in the dark.
Well,
There.
seems how probably none of us are terribly versed on what a
I'm
road
not.
should actually look like.
I'm not
This
versed,
inspection is
Yeah.
kind of useless.
and I
But
would,
We have
necessary to
had
the
it
process.
professionally inspected.
yeah, and
Inspect.
David probably
So-
should be along for
We could
that
always
too.
drive up there individually.
I mean, I
and
could
then
do
just
one of
do
these
the-
and call it good.
Public inspection.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
yeah, that,
'Cause
I
it's-
agree
Yeah,
with
it's
that right there.
Yeah, because that's essentially what's going to happen when we all go out there. Is we're going to do one of these. And
Yeah,
There
yeah.
you go.
Um,
So it doesn't matter whether it's dark or not. We don't know what we're looking at.
Alright.
anyway.
We can do
So-
it in the dark.
Yep. December 19th, 5:45. Public hearing to be held at 6:20
Good.
Here.
here. Everybody happy with that?
Yes.
Sure.
Great.
Did you need,
So that's what we will do.
a second?
No, I don't think we need a motion. That's just.
Part of the process.
Yep.
Okay.
So we're good there. Just a week before Christmas, we'll go inspect some. Make sure it's ready for Santa.
Ooh, they could be all decorated.
Yeah. We won't even need lights. All the Christmas lights will be out.
that's good.
Library and lobby keys for volunteers. For library volunteers. So basically, they need keys for the volunteers to be able to get in and out of the building during the time that they're volunteering for. So it's one extra set of keys that
Well,
you will be signing out. You will be signing out.
They'll be signed out to the library and I'll keep track of them.
Okay.
The ones that, they'll only be if they are gonna need to open and otherwise they're gonna stay in the
Okay.
library. But right now, I have the keys and, you know, like I
You
got
have to be here.
I had called in last week and I was like, can I get there in a half an hour? You know, I was off. Yeah. So
Okay.
we've kind of had our hands tied.
So moved.
It's like,
Okay.
somebody else do
You and
this.
I
Steve did
have
it.
the same mind, aren't we? Yes.
So moved and seconded to sign out a set of keys for the library to be controlled by our library director. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed?
Excuse. Hello.
Getting good at that.
The elevator inspection contract, otherwise known as the platform lift that is out by the police department.
I can't believe it was so cheap.
Yeah.
Well, it's not exactly, that particular one's not exactly rocket science, but
No, but still to inspect it. I moved that we go with the agreement. $150 a year.
second,
Okay. Moved and seconded to accept the elevator inspection contract and for
It's $150 a year.
me to sign it. Friendly amendment that I'm gonna sign this thing?
So
Okay.
friendly amended.
and that was just done too, by the way, it's in the package that you all looked at. You
Yes.
signed.
So, moved and seconded to have me sign the elevator inspection contract. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? That's for you. There wasn't a second page to sign there, was there?
No.
Those tabs really throw me off.
It's,
Gene Carr Development writes, does the town want to do a title search? So this goes back to,
actually, that's kind of a typo on my part. Do we want a title search was supposed to go on the road?
oh, okay, yes,
Say that again.
yes.
The
So we
title
need to
search
circle
is
back
supposed
to
be on
that,
road, not
actually.
on property.
Oh.
Good
So-
question, I put it on.
Oh, I'm like. oh,
So,
I've been there forever.
let's do this and then we need to circle back to the road discussion, I'm sorry. So Gene Carr Development
was my
writes,
fault.
what are we talking about with that?
It's a good idea. We are getting ready to finalize the purchase of the development rights that was approved at the last town meeting for $45,300. It is, the agreement that the farmland committee has come up with is the same thing that they talked about at town meeting. But it's a good idea for you to reaffirm that check writing for our treasurer before she writes a check for $45,300.
So moved.
Second,
Moved
Got
and-
to do it.
it is, yes.
That's Steve Dunkley.
You get to choose that one. Moved and seconded to reaffirm the writing of the check agreed upon for town meeting for the development rights of the Gene Carr property. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed?
Accused.
You had a recusal. Excuse me. I'm gonna make it, I promise. Circle back to number one.
I apologize.
Hemlock Road and Aspen Lane. To our knowledge and to the landowner's knowledge of the road, there's never been a title search done on the Hemlock Road property, where the road is. Since we are taking it over as a town, we need to decide whether we want to do a title search at our expense, which is whatever it's going to be.
Well, there was, in the original article, there was $6,000, I believe, up to $6,000 in administrative costs for
The road?
doing the surveying and things like this. So it would come out of the farmland.
No, that we're
No,
on
this
the
is on
wrong.
the road.
Not for.
Back
Oh,
to the road.
God, see, I
farmland.
can't even
Hemlock
know
Road.
what properties we're talking
Hemlock
about.
Road.
I know, I was like, no,
Sorry.
that's
Mr.
okay.
Chair, I
Just
think
ignore
that
me.
it's a good idea to do that
Yes.
search because, number one, you have a number of properties involved there and a road running up through which the town's taking over, and I think it's really important. And it could end up, I mean, I don't know how many properties are along Hemlock Road, but it could end
10,
up
I would
becoming
guess.
quite a thing, yeah.
Down the road, just to protect the town.
I think it's very
in the future,
important.
Yes.
Mhm.
So I agree with you, everybody.
We're into some stuff from, 200 years ago with
Yeah.
Sac Road. We don't
No,
need to
seriously.
perpetuate that process.
You already
going
have one
forward.
controversy.
So then we need to make a motion to that effect that we will do a title search
I-
on
I s-
Hemlock Road and Aspen Lane
I
properties.
so move that we ask for titles, or have done a title search prior to taking the road over. And that is something what needs to be done concurrent with taking the road over.
Very soon.
Just prior.
The title search needs to be done very soon,
Completed, because we need to know about the details there.
prior to our inspection and public
Yes.
hearing and all that on
It should be
December
fairly
19th.
straightforward, because it started out as one piece of property,
Yep,
subdivided, and the road laid up
You
through.
don't
So
have to go back 40 years.
we're not have to, right, you won't have to go back 150 and
okay.
burned records and all the rest of that stuff.
So what was your motion? Did
To-
you finish your motion?
I did.
Okay.
I said that I would like to have a title search done of Hemlock Road and Aspen Lane prior to the town taking over the property.
Okay.
Second.
Moved and seconded to approve a title search for Hemlock Road and Aspen Lane prior to taking ownership of the property as a town. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay.
Do you need
So
to
good to
talk
go.
about who pays for it? Or
We have to.
we do have to?
Yeah.
Okay, that's indicated.
Have to find it somewhere, professional services or something, I don't know.
Yeah, it'll probably come out of professional services. Okay, press kit.
Oh, yeah.
Sounds like a piece of meat.
So,
Just press
you have
it.
the front and the back of the page that says Town of Vernon press response, messages and talking points. Due to the sale of Vermont Yankee, possible sale of Vermont Yankee to North Star Services, every one of us gets more and more phone calls, including the town office. And some of those phone calls are not met with the best responses, in my opinion. So I had Michelle work up this kind of press kit for us. That kind of gives us bullet point responses of when we get calls from, different press companies and newspapers and all that kind of thing of the responses that we really want to see come out of the town and keeping what's going on here, although it is dramatic and traumatic, sure, I'll give it that. We're a resilient town and a resilient community that Vernon was here before, Vernon will be here after. So, and that's what we want as a board, I'm assuming, that's what I want specifically to come out of every conversation that is had in the town office and outside the town office by town officials and employees and everyone else. So this gives those people that guideline of what we as a select board would like to hear them say. And if you guys are in agreement with this, we will implement it to the best of our ability.
I've read this through a couple of times, and I think that it's well written and certainly something I can support.
Good.
Yeah, I agree. As a whole, we need to project a positive outlook for our community. And yeah, there's gonna be some difficulties, but I think we need to be hopeful and again, project a positive attitude towards media.
Yep.
Would you like a motion on this, Mr. Chair?
I don't know if we necessarily need a motion, I just think we all need to have an agreement that this is what should be utilized when phone calls come into the office. I would like to see these phone calls be directed to Michelle. Can I force that? Absolutely not. But for those that
Yeah.
feel the need to accept these phone calls and be a mouthpiece for the town, which is perfectly fine. We just want that mouthpiece to be saying the right thing.
I also see this as a living set of information. I was gonna say rules, but living thing in that, from time to time, we may need to revisit this to see if
Oh,
there are
absolutely.
things that change and that we can tweak things to fit, the circumstance.
Yep.
I think,
Absolutely.
and this lends itself to doing that.
If the sale
I-
if the sale of Vermont Yankee goes through, we can eliminate some of this stuff.
One thing I would like to do is to make sure, given that we kind of date this one.
Yeah.
So that going forward, we know what we're dealing with in terms of a current.
In other words, some of these things might not be useful a year from now.
Well, I think, our perception of things change sometimes too. I know 2 years ago, there was a great deal of interest in a gas plant here. Well, now without the pipeline, that kind of fizzled, but I'm still interested in it, but it's probably not gonna go anywhere. And so we have other things that may come up that change the landscape,
Okay.
And we need to recognize that. and make
So
this-
everybody's happy with this, we'll accept it as a board as of today, the 7th, and date the press kit to be accepted as of November 7th, 2017, and as we move forward and select board changes and all that kind of thing, we will continue to update this press kit as we are always the talk of the town. And I don't think that's gonna change in the next 20 years,
I agree.
so.
It's nice to have that guidance too, because sometimes you might have a particular focus on one aspect and
Yeah.
you're not really sure.
Or you get caught on the spot when you weren't
Oh,
really
that's right,
expecting,
yeah, that's right.
expecting that phone call to come through. So, okay. Town plan updates, comments on content. The majority of us have sat through some of the town plan meetings with the planning commission. They have one tomorrow night concurrently with our meeting. Did you include, what did you include for them?
Just a copy of the final town plan.
Okay. So you have a copy of it. If you want to make comments or anything else towards it, you can make those to Michelle or attend planning commission meetings when they're going through them one way or the other.
Do you have this electronically?
I do.
Because having a copy electronically would allow me to put essentially comment bubbles in, which
Sure.
I find handy because then it dates them and says who made the comment. For me, it's
Absolutely.
useful. If you, I can pick it up, upstairs. You don't have to email it to me. It's probably fairly big, so.
Michelle has done a tremendous amount of work, and John, is that his
John
name?
Bennett.
John Bennett, as well, of trying to get our town plan updated again.
So this has all the changes that you were talking about in the other meeting, even though.
No, that is the final from May 2014.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
So then if there's anything going forward that anybody thinks they want included going forward,
Oh, okay.
nothing has been finalized going forward. They're all,
But
they're all drafts.
One of the
Right.
things
But
that.
I can bring
yeah.
that up.
Okay.
One of the things that I've certainly discussed with people is the need to make sure that for the school issues, that the school board is involved in the portion too. I think that's really important, as we talked about
I
earlier.
did send that request
Mhm.
over to
Right.
Mike Heater.
And where
at the school
we're
board.
gonna be meeting with the school board next week, that might be one of the things to mention as being an important item going forward.
Yeah, we have opened the door for them to attend a
Mhm.
planning commission meeting
Right.
during that
Mhm.
chapter of
Mhm.
the town plan update, so.
Although the section for school is not huge, it still is very important.
Yep.
Schools are one of our best selling points here in town, I think.
Sure. All right, so everybody's got that, they can make comments, all that kind of thing. Our new item that we added tonight was a waiver from penalty for filing a late homestead declaration, property tax adjustments, blah, blah, blah. everybody has that letter in their thing. Do you want me to read it? You read it yourself. Good. Okay.
Do you know how much this penalty is?
I don't know off the top of my head.
Is it in our purview to grant this?
It is.
It
And
is.
I confirm that with the treasurer, has to go through the select board by state statute.
Have we done this before? Because I know there've been other people who've been late. We have
Yeah, I recall
waived
several years ago.
penalties, yeah.
That brings up a, you know, a good question of setting precedent and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And, you know, how do we determine who made a mistake and who fraudulently did, or not fraudulently,
Just
but just
Neglectfully
didn't do
forgot.
it,
Yeah,
and
right. No, I know.
then, you know, but that's why we get paid the big bucks.
But
Yeah,
on
We
that
get to make
note,
decisions
You're
like
right,
that.
That's right.
I had personally an error done to my homestead one year, and my accountant had insurance to cover that error.
Yeah, and I'm
And it
surprised
was
this didn't
taken
happen
care
here.
of
I
that
know.
way. I never went
yeah.
to the town.
I have, I use H&R Block and they have the same coverage,
Right.
so, yeah.
So I wonder about that approach, if that was tried,
Maybe she
because it
doesn't,
says there's a
isn't even aware of that.
CPA, so that would be somebody that
That's fair.
probably would have some liability or such insurance.
I like it. Can we request that from Karen to see if she can push this back on her CPA instead of on the town for the mistake that they made?
Error.
And then whatever she says, we'll add to the next agenda and if we need to. If not, that's what insurance is for.
Exactly.
We have no old business, public participation agenda items only. We have no public correspondence.
Really, nothing of note in addition to what is in your packet. There's the meeting stuff in there, and, that's pretty much it. It's been kind of a slow, nice. I know, I should have.
Yeah.
Slow as far as correspondence goes.
Yeah,
Everything, we just
just been around here, but slow goes.
it's not a lot of mail going across the desk.
So we don't get to try out our new press kit on anybody in correspondence.
No, not yet.
No, they just,
You have
they
time.
just call out of the blue.
See, and I usually
They've got a
say, you
deadline.
need to call our town
They gotta
administrator.
fill in
Not
as much
everybody
column.
I
Nobody in the
know.
mail didn't
We're
No.
not about saying anything
No.
about that.
Never have time to actually write things,
Or something.
figure out what you say. Right off the cuff.
$4 grand right
Then we do my report.
Sure, go for it.
What you said.
Oh, okay.
There's a little lull there. I just wanted to make a note that we have had in front of the select board a couple of times the fire pond on the corner of Newton Road and 142 that's needed some work. That work has been done.
It looks beautiful.
Does
I
it?
thought it did too. And my sister called on Stella and told her how wonderful the pond looked. And of course, Stella never,
now. We're on TV.
It was interesting.
shoot. Well, at any rate, it's going to be a lovely thing. We're all very impressed with it. And the other thing too is I was impressed with the amount of water that they pumped out of that thing, and it still has water in it.
That's great.
There must be some kind of water source there. That's
There's-
probably why your corn all shrivels up.
There is a spring that feeds that, I thought.
Could be.
What's that?
I'm pretty sure there's a spring that feeds that.
Well, there is, but I think it comes from this field up
Oh,
top,
that's all right.
underneath the railroad track.
You didn't need that one.
At any rate, yeah, no, I thought it was a wonderful job, and I do appreciate the fire company doing what they did there, actually.
They did, and they are looking at working on another fire pond before the end of this season.
Right, yeah, I noticed the one on Stebbins Road, is that what we're talking about?
They're looking at two different ones
Oh,
depending
okay.
on cost, I
All
think,
right,
so
yeah.
they're doing a little cost analysis at this point to see what they can get done
Mhm.
in the budget. In addition to that, we did have a power outage at the town office
Yeah.
last week on Monday and Tuesday. So I would like to thank everybody for their patience as we were kind of dead in the water. But luckily we got, and it was just the town office, I believe, because it came directly from the pole. That there was something tripped over there, and we did have some power in the town office, but it was putting surges into our brand new computers. So I took the advice of Dampier Electric and turned everything off, which turned out to be a good idea. But we got that up and running, and hopefully the people weren't too inconvenienced by the closure. And I just want to say, on Monday morning, there was an emergency evacuation in town. I do want to give a kudos to our emergency response personnel, especially to David Emery, our emergency management director. He, there was a number of people that were at the firehouse, and he really did a great job in keeping everybody warm, fed, place to sleep, and also taking care of, appointments the next day, doctor's office, doctor's visits. All those little things that, probably most of us probably wouldn't think of. He was absolutely brilliant and wonderful, and just wanted to give him a quick thank you if you run into him. Right, so those are my notes.
Would it be worth I personally would be in favor of maybe sending him a letter thanking him. Would that be inappropriate? Or
No, I don't think so.
would that be something that would?
And maybe to the, fire department that was,
Yes,
Yeah,
that
all
too.
those too.
But I know that he really pulled things
Yes.
together there, and I'm impressed with that myself.
I like to thank them too.
Can I just step back? If we're
Can
finished
I also send a
discussing-
thank you letter to Ron Green, who graciously lent us a wheelchair at the last minute?
Sure,
Oh,
absolutely.
Yes.
All right, I'll type those up.
I just wanted to step back to the issue with the power outage here. There were several people that said to me, well, they don't have emergency generators or something at the town office? I said, well, no, they're pretty expensive to run. But what I was wondering is that, have we ever assessed this building in terms of saying, well, what would be like the minimal power load that we might need to make town function go forward? Because I know that this building is actually proposed as being a thing that would be open in certain emergency circumstances, and maybe when there's power outages. Would that be something that, I'm not saying for this year or anything, but maybe projecting into the future, that we might consider some sort of situation here to give us the continuous power that we might need? Because this really did kill everything for 2 days. And I mean, everybody around us was just fine. Can you imagine if this whole section of that, would people be capable of having no town clerk services, that kind of thing, for an extended period? It could be difficult. I know Cindy was actually doing some stuff with I remember she was taking things home and typing them on a typewriter.
She did. She was able to get payroll up because the typewriter's electric.
Right.
So
yeah.
she did come and get
Yeah.
the typewriter and bring it back to her
It's
house.
something to look at. I'm not saying it's something you necessarily do, but I think we should assess that somehow with their.
We actually kind of are. Dave Emery again is assessing moving the emergency operations
Right,
center
right.
out of the house, because with the sale and everything that's going on, chances are we won't be there for much longer.
Uh-huh.
And there's 2 location possibilities. One is the town office, which is a strong possibility. The other is the fire department.
Right.
And either one's gonna have to have that generator capability. So he's looking at,
Right.
and we'll see what he comes up with as
Good.
far as what the
Well, that's
generator
good.
requirements would be for the building.
Sure.
Because of the wiring, he had mentioned that it looks like a generator for the EOC would have to power the entire building,
Sure.
because you just can't isolate
Isolate
different
things, right.
pieces. So,
Well, it was
so
a
we'll
thought
find
that
out
came to mind,
one
and
way or
I
another.
just think that it's something that we should have on our radar.
There's a
Not
lot
necessarily.
of computers in this building, and
Well,
so
there
I
are,
have
and when you-
concerns about the power surges and,
Well, I mean, you could fry, I know you can fry things, with not just computers, you can fry refrigeration,
Right,
you can fry a lot of things with low voltage.
yeah.
I think
Good.
we got,
That's
we
all.
got lucky, we blew up a surge protector in the police office, the sheriff's office, I think that was, I think, our only casualty.
And my
That's-
answering machine, which I.
Your answering machine did too? Oh, sorry. You were quick
Why
enough
not
with
replace it?
Yeah, like it anyway, right?
Yeah.
That it?
That's it.
Okay. Upcoming meetings, select board, special budget meeting tomorrow night. Planning commission happens at the same time. For those of us that want to attend after, hopefully we get through our budget meeting quickly. Maybe we will, maybe we won't. School board meeting that we will be in attendance of is November 13th at 6 p.m. And then our next regular select board meeting is the 21st, 6:30, same bad time, same bad channel. And I think that is it.
Thank you.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Adjourn.
Yeah, boy.
Second.
Moved and seconded
Aye.
to adjourn. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, we are adjourned.